Bank of America CEO Brian Moynihan out there at Davos talking about the potential slowdown in consumer spending from a cap on credit card rates. But, well, just a little bit after that interview, the plot thickened a bit because we've now learned that Bank of America and Citigroup are weighing new cards that would cap rates at 10% for 1 year. Here to kind of make sense of exactly what's going on and the feasibility of it is Bloomberg Intelligence analyst Herman Chan, who covers U.S. banks, and Nathan Policy, who covers U.S. policy. And Herman, I do want to start with you first here, specifically on when they say a new card. So they're saying we're not going to cap all of our cards at 10, but we'll introduce something new that will have a cap. Is that the reporting that we're getting?
That's the understanding of how this is going to play out, where it'll be a new offering and it would not affect existing balances that are on consumer, that are already built to consumers. So it'll be a new offering capped at 10%. And frankly, we wrote about this a little bit earlier today. And I'm not sure what the uptake would be for such an offering, because you're going to limit it to like your super prime borrowers.
Well,
and you're not really going to offer the typical rewards program that you would for a wealthier client.
For super prime borrowers, right. And that gets to a question I have for you, Nathan, the idea that the companies are clearly trying to front run the potential of any regulation or legislation on this front here. Is there any sort of meaningful chance that we would actually see Congress sort of enact what Trump is looking for?
Not really. You know, there is a bill out there from Senators Bernie Sanders and Senators Josh Hawley, so an independent and a Republican, that would cap credit card interest rates at 10% for 5 years. But I'm only at a 30% chance of that bill having success, even with President Trump's backing here. There just isn't enough votes, I think, in the Senate to really get this through. But the concern from the banking industry is the political pressure, the bully pulpit, if you will, from the White House. Because, look, there is bipartisan populist angst about credit card interests, and something has to be done. And that's why I think you're seeing Bank of America and Citigroup reportedly move forward with this idea, because it essentially says to the White House, look, we hear the message, we've developed a solution, now can we please just get out of your focus so that we can focus on something else? I think that's going to be the big story for 2026.
So a 30% chance of success that you give that in 2026. But even still, let's play hypotheticals here, Nathan, because you think about what this would mean for American Express, for Capital One, if this went through. You actually did the math there over at Bloomberg Intelligence.
Yeah, so, you know, if they were to put in a cap of 10%, you're looking around $121 billion in revenue, just back in the napkin math. And a lot of that obviously would go to other credit card companies. There is another policy, though, that we're telling our clients that you got to be careful about, though. It's called the Credit Card Competition Act. Now, this is a bill that would increase competition amongst the networks. So think Visa plus Capital One, MasterCard plus American Express. And this is a bill that, you know, Senators Roger Marshall and Dick Durbin are waiting in their hip pocket to attach at the last moment. And so that is the biggest concern here is that maybe on the swipe fees, interchange fees, if you will, that there will be more competition. President Trump also embraced this via Truth Social a couple of weeks ago. It has a bigger chance of success, and something we're telling our clients to just be very careful of.
And Herman, I mean, it's interesting, right? Because even if we don't see Congress pass actual legislation here, you write in Bloomberg Intelligence that basically this helps from a PR standpoint.
That's
when
right.
you think about what Bank of America, what Citi is thinking about, they haven't actually come out and issued these cards, but they're weighing it. If you're the CEO of a bank in this day and age, you have to be extending some sort of olive branch to the administration, it feels like.
That's right. And really, does it change anything? In our view, probably not, because banks already offer introductory, low to zero APRs for new customers. So a 10% introductory offer doesn't really move the needle one way or another in our view.
All right. Well, great roundtable, you guys. That is Nathan Dean and Herman Chan, both of Bloomberg Intelligence. A great conversation. And